Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to talk about the most important topic. This is the class number one on the PG anatomy of the brain. Okay, this is the very most important topic, but this is the difficult topic. This is very most and very complicated topic. The brain stem. What is mean by brain stem? As we know that our brain consists of forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. But brainstem is the lowest part of the brain. Pons, medulla, and the midbrain. Midbrain, pons, and medulla. These three structures combinedly make the stem part of the brain. Look at this one diagram. This is the cut section of the brain. This is the CNS cut section. Okay. This is the frontal lobe, while this one is the occipital lobe. So this is the spinal cord. This one is the medulla, this one is the pons, and this one is the midbrain. While this one is the central canal of the spinal cord, which is spelled with CSF. This is the fourth ventricle. This is the fourth ventricle, which occupy the medulla, pons, and the cerebellum. This one is the cerebellum. So the central canal is move upward and connect with the fourth ventricle, and the fourth ventricle is go upward and connect with the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct is the cavity of the, this is the canal for the CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. So cerebral aqueduct, this is the cerebral aqueduct of the midbrain. So these are cavity. Okay. So what is brainstem? Brainstem is the lowest part of the brain and consists of the pons, medulla, and the midbrain. Okay, this is the brain stem. 1, 2, 3. These three structure is called the brain stem. Well, okay. So the brain stem is physiologically have its own importance and anatomically also have its own importance. Brain stem is the communicating pathway. Many fiber ascending fiber go to the upper higher center of the brain and pass through the medulla, the pons, the midbrain, and the descending fiber, which is go from the higher center to the spinal cord, and also pass from this area. So the main the main function of the brainstem is the communicating pathway. This is the communicating pathway. This is the connection of the spinal cord. This connect the spinal cord with the upper brain centers. Okay. This also contain its own nuclei which function like the other part of the brain. Okay. So the first part is the medulla oblongata. This one, the medulla. When I this structure and this structure have only 180 degree difference. This is the structure which is front side, occipital side. So this is the front lobe. This is the occipital lobe. When I rotate, this structure is like this. So for easy understanding, I rotate this structure by 180 degree. Okay, this is for the easily understanding structure. So this is the pons, the medulla, the spinal cord, the cerebellum, and the cerebral aqueduct. Okay, so this is the medulla. The spinal cord covers the central canal for the ventricular system of the brain, like central canal, fourth ventricle, cerebral aqueduct, lateral ventricle. I have already explained in a big detail in the previous class. Okay, in the ventricular system. But pons and the medulla cover the fourth ventricle. This is the fourth ventricle. This is the cerebral aqueduct. This is fourth ventricle is just like a tent, which is covered by the cerebellum from the back side. Okay, this is the cerebellum which is covered the fourth ventricle from back side. This is the floor. This is the roof. This one, and this is the roof of the floor of the fourth ventricle. This is the floor. The floor, half of the floor of the fourth ventricle is covered by the pons, and half of the floor is covered by the medulla. Okay, so this is the 1 degree rotation structure of this one. Okay, what is medulla? Number one, medulla is the lowest part of the brain. Is the lowest part of the brain stem. Medulla. This one is the medulla. Is the lowest part of all the brain and the lowest part of the brain stem. Okay, it connects the spinal cord with the pons and upper higher center of the brain. Okay, so what is the anatomy of the medulla? Look at this one. This is the medulla. The yellow color is the medulla. This is the spinal cord. This is the central canal. This is the anterior view of the medulla and the bone. So the medulla, the structure of the medulla consists of the outgrowth structure anteriorly. This one and this one. This is the outgrowth anterior. This is the structure which consists of the fiber, descending fiber and ascending fiber. So this structure, this one and this one, is the structure which is made from the fiber which carry information up down the CNS. Okay, so this outgrowth anterior outgrowth mass is called pyramid. Pyramid is a group, heavy group of the fiber. Okay, so this one and this one is called the pyramid. Posterior lateral to the pyramid, this is the anterior structure. When we go laterally and to posterior side and to the posterior side, posteriorly, when you go from this one and posteriorly, there is another outgrowth which is called this one and this one and this one, 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 two, two. This is called uliu. Uliu have its own importance in the body, have its own anatomical and physiologically its own function. Okay, so these are the this one is called the median pressure. Anterior median pressure is the groove like is a groove like pathway, just like a line, groove like line, which is called anterior median pressure. Anterior median pressure. Okay, these are the nerves. This is a very long topic. It will take more time than the other topic of the CNS. Okay, the brainstem, because brainstem consists of medulla, bone, and the midbrain. So all of these part have its own importance function. So I will discuss in this lecture. Okay, these are the nerves. This one is the accessory nerves. Accessory nerve is derived from the spinal cord and the medulla. Okay, this one is the glossopharyngeal nerve. Glossopharyngeal nerve is derived from the posterior side, from the back side of the medulla. And these are all about the sixth, seventh, 8 cranial nerve. This one is the right, left, sixth, right, left, 7, right, left, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and other is which is which I skip from this area is the 12th. So there are 12 cranial nerve. This one is the trigeminal nerve, which is derived from the bone. Okay, so this is the medulla. Here I skip one nerve, the vagus nerve. The most important nerve is the vagus nerve, which is derived from the medulla. Okay, so this is the structure of this is the anatomy of the medulla. Okay, the function of the medulla, the function of the medulla is medulla control. Concentrate this word, this concept. Medulla control the involuntary reflexes, involuntary action of the body mainly. About 99.99% of the voluntary action of the body is controlled by the medulla. Okay, so this is the posterior view of the medulla. Okay, so the function of the medulla is the medulla consists of the respiratory centers. I am not going in detail for the regulation of the respiration, for the regulation of the vasomotor center, for the regulation of the blood pressure, for the regulation of the balanced body, and for the regulation of the DGIT, heart circulatory system. Okay, but giving a little bit idea. Okay, so the medulla regulate respiratory system, cardiovascular system, balance our head, balance our eye, control the movement of the head, control the movement of the eye, it control the activity of the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, spleen, kidney, heart, etc. Okay, so the medulla oblongata consists of the respiratory centers. What is mean by respiratory center? Respiratory center are the centers which regulate respiration, breathing, inhalation and exhalation. Okay, so this structure is present in the bone. Pneumothoracic center and neurostic center are present in the bone, while these two center, dorsal root group and ventral root group, these are the two structures which is present in the medulla. There are four respiratory center. Two structure is called pontine centers, and two center is called medullary center. So these two is the pontine center, and these two is the this one, and this one is the medullary centers. Okay, so dorsal root ganglia is the structure as the center which regulate respiration at the normal in the normal condition. It regulate inhalation and exhalation in the normal rhythm in the normal condition. Okay, but at this is the simple shortcut phenomena for the when when blood carbon dioxide level is high. When carbon dioxide level is high, so the carbon dioxide, this is the sketch which bring abnormal condition to the normal condition. So when the blood carbon dioxide level is high, suppose, then the carbon dioxide is go from the blood vessel to the cerebrospinal fluid. This is a CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, because cerebrospinal fluid is present all over the all around the central nervous system. Okay, so the carbon dioxide react with water, it make H2CO3, and then H2CO3 is unstable molecule is breakdown in H2O3 negative and H positive. When this H positive stimulate this center, this is the chemocenter. Central, this is the chemocentral. This is the central chemoreceptor. So this is the chemoreceptor. This is the central chemoreceptor. This is the this is the chemoreceptor. Some other are baroreceptor. Some is the ligand receptor. So this is the chemoreceptor. So this positive hydrogen stimulate this area. When stimulate this receptor carry message to the pneumatoxic center. I am not going in detail, but giving just a little bit idea. Stimulate this area. So this center again stimulate this center. This center also stimulate this center, and this one stimulate this center. Okay, so there the inhalation and the speed of inhalation and exhalation is increased, and the contraction and relaxation of the intercostal muscle of the diaphragm of the costal muscle is increased, and the carbon dioxide is expelled from the body through the trachea and taking more oxygen. Okay, so this is all about the respiratory center. I will explain each of these one. Some I have already explained, and some I will explain in the next lectures. Okay, in the next section. So this is the respiratory center of the medulla oblongata. Respiratory center, dorsal root group up dorsal root group of neuron, ventral root group of neuron. So this is the medullary structure. Okay, another function of the respiratory system is the regulation of blood pressure. How the medulla oblongata regulate blood pressure. So this is the aorta. This is the aortic arch. This one is the ascending aorta. This one is the descending aorta. This is the transverse aorta. This is aortic arch. This is the you know that the right common carotid artery. When the right common carotid artery is divided into two parts, there is there make a swollen wide shaped area which is called carotid sinus. There, the carotid sinus consists of, I have already explained the carotid sinus, the stimulation of the baroreceptor. There are present baroreceptor. I have already explained the baroreceptor and the class of the receptor. Okay, so there are present vagus nerve. This is the vagus nerve. There are present vagus nerve. There are present vagoreceptor. When blood pressure is high, it stretch this area. So when it stretch this area, this baroreceptor is stimulated. So this is the high BP. This is the high BP center. This is the low BP center. There is present high BP baroreceptor. There are present in aortic arch. Low BP baroreceptor. So when BP is high, it stretch this area. So the vagus nerves and glossopharyngeal nerves, 1 and 2, vagus nerve and glossopharyngeal nerves carry message from this area up to the nucleus abstractus solitarius. So nucleus abstractus solitarius is present in the medulla oblongata. So the nucleus abstractus solitarius is a very complex structure, and it also consists of two central vasoconstrictor area. This is the vasodilator area. So this is the vasoconstrictor area. This is the vasodilator area. So this is the nucleus abstractus solitarius. When the high BP message is go here, there two center, one center and another center. So there the BP is high. So this BP is need to be bring to the normal state. So in order to bring the BP to the normal state, the cardiac output must be need to slow down. The blood vessel is must be need to dilate. Okay. So this part of the nucleus structure solitarius inhibit vasoconstricted area. When vasoconstricted area is inhibit, it give no message to the blood vessel, so the blood vessel become dilate. But it stimulate this area. When it stimulate this area, so this area of the nucleus stimulate vasodilator area. So when vasodilator area stimulate, it carry message to the cardiac to the heart. It decrease the cardiac activity, and it also increase the it increase the cardiac activity. When cardiac activity is slow down, the BP is go to the normal. Okay, so this is all about the so the what is vasomotor center. Vasomotor center is a center and the medulla oblongata which regulate BP. Okay, vasomotor center consists of the vasoconstrictor area, vasodilator area, and nucleus obstructive solitarius. So these three center combine together and make vasomotor center. So the medulla oblongata is the center for the blood pressure regulation. Okay, we are coming from the class 10, 11, 12, and again and again explain that our medulla oblongata is for the esophageal reflexes for the blood pressure, but this is the real concept. I have practically proved. Medulla oblongata also consists of the vestibular nuclei. Suppose this is the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata also consists of vestibular nuclei. There are present a specific, what is nucleus? Group of cell bodies, and the central nervous system is called nucleus. So it is present nucleus, a specific center for the balance of the head, for the balance of the body, for the balance of the eye. So balance of the body, especially the eye and the head. As we know that this is the cut section of the ear. This is the cochlea. I will discuss these art structure in the next section. but this is just a bit little bit idea. So as we know that the internal ear consists of two parts. One is called the cochlea and the other is called the vestibular apparatus. Cochlea is a snail-like shape which help in the hearing of sound and carry sounding signal to the brain by the cochlear nerve. So this is the sounding hearing center of the inner ear, while this one is the vestibular apparatus. Vestibular apparatus is a part of the inner ear which balance our motion, our movement of the eye, movement of the head. Okay, because the vestibular apparatus consists of the three semicircular canal. This is the posterior semicircular canal, which is filled with fluid. This is also filled with fluid. These are also filled with fluid. Posterior semicircular, lateral semicircular canal, and anterior semicircular canal. What is the function of anterior semicircular canal? The anterior semicircular canal help in the balance of the head by movement of the head and the frontal and the uh, back and the ventral movement. Okay, so the vestibular apparatus consists of three canal. So the when we move our head shoulder to shoulder, this movement is controlled by the lateral semicircular canal. When we move head back and forth, this is controlled by the anterior semicircular canal. When we move head right left, this is controlled by posterior. Okay, so the message from these canals, from these semicircular canals, from these organs is go to the medulla oblongata by first order neuron, and there the vestibular nuclei is present, and then message is go back to the to this area, to the to the eye muscle, to the shoulder muscle, to the other body part muscle by second order neuron. So this is called the vestibular nerve, which carry message to the vestibular nuclei, and this nuclei is present in the medulla oblongata. Okay, so medulla oblongata balance our body, especially the head region. Okay, so this is the another function. The this is the one function. Okay, another center which is present in the medulla oblongata, deglutition center, is also present in the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata also control the sneezing. So sneezing center is also present in the medulla oblongata. Swallowing center is also present in the medulla oblongata. Okay, so these are all the involuntary center which is present in the medulla. Okay, the most important function is the this is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve which is derived from the medulla, and this is the only cranial nerve. Cranial nerve only supply the head region, while this one is the vagus nerve. This is the only nerve which supply other body part, the thorax cavity, the thorax region, the abdominal region. It all supply the heart, the aorta, the common carotid artery, the brachiocephalic artery, the lungs, the heart, the stomach, the small intestine, large intestine, liver, kidney, spleen. So th these are all these all structure. Uh, this is the larynx, and here are pharynx. So esophageal reflux, laryngeal reflux, pharyngeal reflux. These all reflexes and this all activity, this all involuntary activity, contraction, relaxation of the small intestine, large intestine, stomach. This all activity is controlled by the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is derived from the medulla oblongata. So these are all the function of the medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata is the only part of the brain which control the reflexes, which control the reflex action, involuntary activity of the body mainly. Okay, so this is very detailed part of the brain. Okay, okay. Another part is the pons. This is the medulla. This is the pons. What is pons? Pons is the part of the brainstem which is present above the medulla and below the midbrain. This one, this is the rotational 1 degree rotation structure. Pons. So what is pons? Pons is the part of the brainstem. Pons is like a bridge. There are two reasons for the bridge. One reason is that this is a bridge between the medulla and the midbrain. This is the midbrain. Another reason for the bridge concept is that pons is the bridge. Pons is just like a bridge between the midbrain and the cerebellum, between the upper higher center, especially the midbrain, and the this is the pons, which is the bridge between the midbrain and the cerebellum. What is mean by this concept? This is simply concept between the midbrain and the medulla. This is concept number one. This is the reason number one. But the reason number two is this is the bridge between the midbrain and the cerebellum. What is mean by this concept? The concept is here. Okay, that concept is here. This is the medulla. This one is the pons. This one is the pons. Okay, as we know that here is another page. Okay, as we know that this is the cerebral cortex. This is the cerebral medulla. The cerebral cortex. These are the syllabi. These are the nuclei of the and the cerebral cortex. So the exam from the nuclei fiber. This is nerve fiber. Is go from the cerebral cortex, which combine the cerebral cortex with the pons. This is the nuclei, and the pons is the syllabi. And what is nuclei? Nucleus is the collection of cell bodies in the CNS. Okay, so this is the nucleus. This is the nerve fiber. Nerve fiber go to the near the pons, and from pons this fiber is go to the cerebellum. So it combine together the midbrain or the cerebellum with the midbrain or the cerebrum with the cerebellum. Look at this one. As we know that our right cerebrum, this is the cerebrum, our right cerebrum control left body part, and the left cerebrum control right body part. Okay, so there are present nuclei in the cerebrum. The fiber is coming from the left side and go toward the left side of the pons. There are present cell bodies nuclei, and then this fiber go toward the right cerebellum, and the fiber coming from the right cerebrum and go to the pons, and then this fiber go to the left cerebellum. So pons is a bridge which is wider in the middle and narrow at the end. Okay, so this structure is called the bridge. Why it is called a bridge? Because it combined together the cerebrum with the cerebrum and the middle brain. This is the middle brain. Okay, so middle brain is a huge mass of the fiber. This is the middle brain. So it combined together middle brain with the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum, and combined cerebrum with the. Okay, so the pons is a bread-like structure. Okay, this is the main function. There are many functions of the pons, but the pons is also the sleep center. There are many functions, but the most important function of the pons is to. So this pathway is called from this point up to this point, from this nuclei up to this nuclei. This is called corticopontine corticopontine pathway, because it combined together cerebral cortex with the pons. This is called corticopontine pathway. While this pathway from this point up to this point and from this point up to this point, this is called corticopontocerebellar corticopontocerebellar pathway, because it combined together cortex of the cerebrum with the pons and then the cerebellum. Okay, so this is a communicating pathway which is mainly in what the pons. Okay, so this is the another point. The pons, here is the pons, here is the pons, this is the pons. Fiber go from this point and from this point up to this point and combine the cerebellum. Here are the cerebellum posteriorly. And this is the medulla, this is the pons, but the cerebellum is present posteriorly. Here the cerebellum is present posteriorly. So their fiber go from left to right and go to the cerebellum, which is present posteriorly at the back side of the structure. They make a shallow structure. They make a shallow structure which is called basilar groove. It make basilar groove. The basilar groove is very important because the basilar artery is passed here. Here the basilar artery is passed and go toward upper center. This is the basilar artery. The basilar artery, there pass the basilar artery in this groove, and the basilar artery is made from two arteries, the right vertebral artery and the left vertebral artery. This is the right vertebral artery. Combined together, it make basilar artery, while the basilar artery go to the brain and pass the and go through the basilar groove. Basilar groove is the groove in the pons. Okay, so these are all about the pons. The midbrain. The third part of the brainstem is the midbrain. What is midbrain? Midbrain is the uppermost part of the brainstem. This one. This is the midbrain. Forebrain. This is the forebrain. This is the forebrain. This is the midbrain, while this one is the hindbrain. The cerebellum, the pons, medulla is the hindbrain. This cerebrum, there is the limbic system, there is the thalamus, hypothalamus are the forebrain, Well, this small structure is the midbrain. So midbrain is the 1, 2, 3 is the uppermost part of the brain stem. Okay. So what is the actual meaning of the midbrain? Midbrain is a huge mass. Midbrain is a huge mass of the fiber which carry impulse up and down the central nervous system. Look at this concept. This is the medulla bone, while this one is the midbrain. So the midbrain consists of small number of nuclei, small number of the center. This midbrain consists of the mini fiber which carry up down the message in the CNS. Midbrain also consists of some centers, some area for the function regulator of the body, and some other uh, body function part. Okay, but mainly this the midbrain is called cerebellar peduncle. Why it is called the cerebellar peduncle? Because what is peduncle? Peduncle is a huge mass of the white matter of the fiber which connect the brain stem with the cerebrum. And look at this one. Why it is called cerebellar peduncle? Cerebral peduncle. What is peduncle? Peduncle is a huge mass of the fiber which combine together the brain stem, this one, with the cerebrum. This is the cerebrum, which combine together brain stem with the cerebrum and the cerebellum. There are four main peduncle. This is called cerebral peduncle. There are also present three peduncle. This one is the cerebral peduncle, which is made by the midbrain. There are also present inferior cerebellar peduncle. This is the cerebral peduncle, which combines cerebrum with the brain stem. But there are also present some peduncle which combine together cerebellum. This one is the medial cerebellar this is the cerebral cerebrum. This is cerebellar or the cerebellum or the cerebrum. Okay, so this is the medial cerebellar peduncle. Medial cerebellar peduncle combine together the bone with the cerebellum. The inferior cerebral peduncle combine together medulla with the bone with the cerebellum, and the superior cerebellar peduncle combine together the midbrain with the cerebellum. One is this, the superior cerebellar peduncle combine together midbrain with the cerebellum. This one is called the pontine fiber. Is called the medial cerebellar peduncle because it combine together the bone with the cerebellum. Well, this one is called the 2, 3 is the inferior cerebral peduncle which combine together medulla with the cerebellum. But the large these are the cerebellar peduncle. Cerebellar peduncle are three in number. Three cerebellar peduncle. This is the cerebral peduncle which combine together brain stem with the cerebrum. Okay, so this is the general view of the brain stem. Okay, the midbrain. But the midbrain consists of two lobes, one lobe and one lobe. So this is one cerebellar peduncle, this is one cerebellar peduncle. So both of the cerebral peduncle carry message up down the CNS. Okay, this is the back view. This is the back view of the midbrain. And the back view of the midbrain, there are present two colliculi. There are present four. I would go to this called this one, and this one is called superior colliculus, while this one and this one is called inferior colliculus. Suppose this is the one lobe of the midbrain, this is another lobe. Okay, so suppose this is the posterior side, this is the anterior side. Okay, so on the posterior side there are present four swollen. This one, and this one is called superior colliculus, and this one and this one is called the inferior colliculus. What is the function of these colliculus? These colliculus is the center for, these are the four center. These two are the center for the visual reflexes. Visual reflex, it control the visual reflex when huge amount of light fall on our eye. So this is the light reflex. This is mainly this reflex is so when huge amount of light is fall on our eye. This is the, suppose our eye, huge amount of light fall. Okay, so we close our eye by its own muscle, and we take our head to the eye and rotate our head. Okay, so this is the light reflex. This is controlled by the superior colliculus, while the inferior colliculus, these are the two center which control the auditory reflexes. When huge amount of sound pass on our ear, so this is called the auditory reflex. We rotate our head during this reflex activity and close our ear with the help of our finger. Okay, to prevent the further damage. So this reflex is controlled by the inferior colliculus. Okay, so the midbrain is mainly the made from the pipe, but this is also consist of the center. This is also the part of the center. Two mainly function. This is the uh, pathway for the carrying message. Okay, message. This is the nucleus syllabaris nuclei. So message go down to the pons, down to the medulla, down to the spinal cord, and pass to the midbrain. Go to the from the spinal cord, from the medulla, from the pons, pass through the. So this is mainly huge mass of the fiber. But other another function of the midbrain is it consists of some center of the body like visual center, like auditory center, and many other so on. Okay, so this is the simple discussion part of midbrain. This is the superior view. This is the posterior view, and this is also the posterior view. So a simple this anatomy of the midbrain. First part of the midbrain is called the tectum. So the superior and the inferior colliculi are the part of the tectum. This is the part of the tectum. Suppose this is the midbrain. This one structure, this one area, from up to the this level. This is called the first part is called the tectum. The other part is called tegmentum, and the third part is called substantia nigra and crus cerebri. So this is the cerebral aqueduct. What is cerebral aqueduct? This one, the central canal, fourth ventricle, cerebral aqueduct. This is the fluid filled cavities. Okay, cerebral aqueduct is the fluid filled canal of the midbrain. Okay, so this is the structure, this is the anatomy of the midbrain. Okay, so these are all about the brain stem. Okay, so brain stem consists of the medulla, the pons, and the midbrain. So this is all about the brain stem. Okay, another most important physiology of the brain stem beside of this function. Brain stem consists of the this one, this one. This is sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 9, 10, and 10 one is the. So that means the brain stem consists of the many of the cranial nuclei, cranial neuronuclei. There are 12 pair of the cranial neuron. So many of the center of these neurons is present in the brain stem. So the like the glossopharyngeal nerve, the center part, this is the glossopharyngeal nerve. The center part of the glossopharyngeal nerve is present in the medulla. Accessory nerve is the center of the accessory nerve is present in the medulla. For the this is the accessory nerve. Okay, so this structure also perform beauty function because the center of many of the cranial nerve is present in the brainstem. Okay, so this is also the most important physiology of the brainstem.